Situated in what is known as the tri-state area is the town of Dubuque, Iowa. Dubuque, Iowa is surrounded by Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. The town of Dubuque houses around 59,000 people. It is tradition to go down to the river and watch the fireworks. So on July 4th of 2001, that is exactly what Crystal Arensdorf did with her family and friends. She went down to the river to watch the fireworks. Unfortunately, that would be the last time that her family seen her alive. Crystal ended up going with friends over to Nicker's Saloon, which is approximately 5 minutes away from the river. Crystal's friends ended up leaving the saloon to head out and go to East Dubuque. At that moment in time, Crystal was trying to figure out how to get over to East Dubuque after her friends had left. So the plan, from what I understand, is that she was to take a taxi with the bartender to East Dubuque. At 2 a.m., the bar was closing and Crystal was nowhere to be found. So the bartender, Robert, took the taxi over to East Dubuque without her. It is also known that Crystal left all of her belongings. She had left her car earlier in the day with her sister, but her keys were left and her money was left. The next morning, Crystal had not shown up for work and her family had not heard from her. On the night of Crystal's disappearance, she was wearing a white polo shirt, tan shorts, black sandals, a gold chain necklace with an opal pendant, an opal ring, and a toe ring. At the time of Crystal's disappearance, she was dating her boyfriend, Tim Gerlieb. Tim was supposed to be picked up by Crystal that night after his brakes had went out in his truck. Crystal let him know that she was out with friends and wouldn't be able to pick him up. This upset Tim, and he decided to walk to wherever he needed to go. So naturally, the police got on top of this case and they started interviewing people who were there at the bar that night who had contact with her. They interviewed the bartender, Robert Moots, as he served alcohol to Crystal. Mind you, Crystal was born in 1981, so at that time of her disappearance, she was only 20 years old. In the state of Iowa, you have to be 21 in order to consume alcoholic beverages. Robert informed the police that he had served Crystal some alcoholic beverages. In May of 2002, he pled guilty to serving alcohol to a minor. So what we understand is that Robert did in fact serve alcohol to Crystal. What we don't know is how intoxicated she was. How many drinks did she have that night? Robert said that he was supposed to take a taxi over to East Dubuque with Crystal, but at the end of the night, he had not seen her, and he also didn't see her leave. So where did Crystal go? On July 16th of 2001, 12 days later, after Crystal had gone missing, someone reported a body floating in the Leisure Lake in Jackson County, Iowa. Police investigated, and nothing turned up from this lead. Police also interviewed Stephen and David Peacock, two brothers from Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. They had traveled the 70 miles to the bar that night. We don't know if they had any interactions with Crystal, from what I understand, but the police had ruled them out. They even did polygraph tests. The vehicle that was reportedly driven over to Iowa was also checked, and that was clean. 2015, a tip came through alerting the police that the vehicle that was driven by Stephen and David Peacock was in fact a vehicle that their sister owned. So the vehicle that was initially checked was not the vehicle that they traveled in. Now, this is all alleged. I'm not sure of the details. I couldn't find the police report, but this is all alleged. Crystal's boyfriend, Tim, and also the bartender, Robert, were both questioned about her disappearance. At this time, nobody has been taken into custody for the disappearance of Crystal. It's been 22 years since her disappearance. Somebody knows something out there. Let's all spread the word and make this case go viral. Let's bring closure to Crystal's family.
What do you want them to know? You're the mother in the situation. What do you want them to know?
Please help us solve this. Please. anybody that was there or around that area, any vehicle that they might have seen in that area at the time, just anything,
The smallest thing.
the smallest thing.
I did come across an article that stated the police had went back to the saloon, Nicker's Saloon, and checked in the basement of the saloon. Not sure what turned up from there, if anything, but my thought is check from top to bottom. I really would love to know the blueprint of this saloon. If no one saw her leave, then she's got to be in that vicinity. Let's all share this out. Let's get Crystal home.